Okay, welcome for another stream. We're gonna do some basic Spanish again. Uh, and we're gonna start. We saw, if you didn't catch it, the last stream with Spanish lessons content, we went through all the alphabet, A to Z, de la A la Z in Spanish. And it was a good fun. It was kind of long actually, around 3 hours and everything. So it was a while, but I hope it was worth it. So yeah, we're gonna continue with Spanish 101, our very basic class of Spanish. And I prepared another document that if you're in my Patreon, you already have the document. I'm gonna take a second to upload it to the chat. I'm gonna upload it to Drive, I guess, first, and upload the document so you can have it. You can have it too, okay? It's a PDF. Let me fetch it. It'll take a second though, because I'm working on something else that I want to show you. But not yet. Let me see. So it's lesson 2 PDF. And here it is. Let me share it with you in the chat. Get link. Everyone with the link, copy link. So, let me see. Here's the link in the chat. If you're watching this on YouTube later, it's gonna be on our Patreon later. Hello, Realm Knights. Welcome to the stream. Are you all ready for lesson 2? Are you all ready to tackle those verbs? Those verbs. Yes, we're learning more Spanish. Aprendamos español juntas, juntos y juntes. Camaradas. Let's learn some Spanish together, comrades. So whenever you're ready, we're going to start with the lesson, I guess. Lessons in love. No, lessons in Spanish. That was a great song, though, by Level 42. And the way that man played bass, oh my god. With this bass guitar status headless with core. I think it was fiber at the beginning. Like fiberglass, but then the status base is upgraded to carbon fiber, which was like whoa. So I don't know if you're all ready. We're gonna get this party started. Without further ado, so we're gonna tackle the verbos, and these are the verbs we've chosen. Let us check them out, okay? So luchar. And we're just watching the modo indicativo, so it's for things that are happening, that happen, or that will happen. But we're not gonna tackle the rest of the modes just yet, so we're going slow. And we have 3 conjugaciones, or conjugations. And in this case, we've chosen the verb luchar, which is to struggle or to fight. But in our context, we're gonna say this struggle, luchar, and it ends with an AR, luchar, which there's this slogan called luchar, crear, poder popular. I'm going to type it in the chat, luchar, crear, poder popular, which means to struggle to create the power of the people. And this is from primera conjugación, first conjugation. And it is luchar. Segunda, it ends with an ER instead of an AR. So aprender, to learn, which is something that we never stop doing in life. We're always learning. And we're gonna die, and in our last breath, we're gonna be learning still. We're gonna be, chugging those new concepts that we, whatever concepts that we've learned recently. And the third one, tercera conjugación, third conjugation, which is resistir. And it finishes in ir. So, ar, as in luchar, as aprender, and ir, as in resistir, to resist. Which is very straightforward, I would suppose. But it's important because, fascism and oppressions, they never stop working, to make our lives miserable. So, luchar, aprender, and resistir. These are the three verbs that we're going to tackle today. So we got the participle, participio, luchado, what is being fought or what is being struggled. Luchado. And gerundio, which is luchando, which is like fighting or struggling. So luchar, luchado, luchando. Check out the ND. Ndo, luchando. Luchar, fighting, struggling. Luchado, struggled. Luchando, struggling. Like now I'm struggling to... Estoy luchando un poco con mi propia tendencia a no concentrarme. Mi falta de foco. Lack of focus. So, aprender. To learn. And the participle, aprendido. Learned. Gerundio, aprendiendo. Learning. Aprendiendo. Estamos aprendiendo español. Right now we're learning Spanish. Estamos aprendiendo español. Yeah, just in time. Just in time, definitely. Just came back in time, real nights, for the start of the lesson. So, resistir. Resistir. I need to fetch my guitar. Resistir. Participio o participle. Resistido. Hemos resistido todos los intentos del fascismo de dominarnos. We have resisted all of the attempts of fascism to dominate us. Gerundio, resistiendo. Seguimos resistiendo. Seguiremos resistiendo. We'll still keep on resisting. We're still resisting. We'll still keep on resisting. Seguimos resistiendo. We still keep resisting. Seguiremos resistiendo. We'll still keep resisting. And I fetch my guitar because it goes like... El ejército del Ebro, rumba la rumba la rumba bam. El ejército del Ebro, rumba la rumba bam. Una noche el río pasó, ay Carmela, ay Carmela. Una noche el río pasó, ay Carmela, ay Carmela. You know that song? It's a classic song from this, Spanish resistance. And at some point it goes like, pero igual que combatimos, rumba la rumba bam. Pero igual que combatimos, rumba la rumba bam. Deberemos resistir, ay Carmela, ay Carmela. Deberemos resistir, ay Carmela, ay Carmela. Deberemos resistir. We must resist. So same as we fight, same as we combatir. E igual que combatimos, same as we combat, deberemos resistir. We must still struggle. We must still resist. So these are the three verbs that we're going through today. So let's move on to page 2 and say presente del modo indicativo, which is the simple present. So, del verbo luchar, okay? To struggle. Yo lucho, and these are the pronouns here, and these are the verbs. So on this column on the left, there's the pronouns, and on this column of the right, there's the verbs, as you know, as broken down. So, yo lucho, I struggle. Tú luchas, you struggle. And see, this is a very regular verb in which luch is the root. Lucho, luchas, lucha, luchamos, lucháis, luchan. So this would be the root of the word luch. So lucho, yo lucho, I struggle. Tú luchas, you struggle. Él, ella, o esa persona, because we don't have a he, she, or we don't have a they in Spanish per se, like a they as a singular neutral pronoun. So I retorted to that person. So él, ella, esa persona. Him, her, that person. Lucha. So, yo lucho. Tú, okay. Yo lucho. Tú luchas. Él, ella o esa persona lucha. Nosotros, nosotras, nosotres luchamos. Which again, us, male, us, female, us, neutral. And we're gonna insist in the fact that this is not acknowledged by the Real Academia, so you won't find it in regular Spanish theory book. Oh, buenas noches, Michaela. Welcome. Hola, hola, Johnny. Hola, 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 good people. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to the Spanish lesson. So, yeah. So the nosotres or vosotros or ellos, they're not acknowledged. The neutral, they're not acknowledged by the Real Academia Española, the Royal Spanish Academy of the Language, Real Academia Española de la Lengua, which is full of, as you know, or you may imagine, old, white, privileged men. So the neutral is not a priority for them, but we're still, pushing the usage. So it gets eventually accepted by the Academy. They'll be late to the party, as they always are. So yeah. Okay, we were at nosotros, masculine, nosotras, feminine, nosotres, neutral, us. All of them mean us. Vosotros, you, masculine, plural. Vosotras, you, feminine, plural. Vosotres, you, feminine, neutral. And the word is lucháis. Ellos, them or they. Masculine, ellas. They, feminine. Ellas. They, neutral. And it's luchan. So we establish more or less that this is I, you, he, she, them, us, you plural, and they. Okay? I hope it's clear. I hope it's clear. I assume it's clear. If it's not clear, feel free to say so in the chat. If you're watching this recording, I'm sorry. you can hit me up on Twitter and tell me your doubts. But yeah, if you have any doubts, just type them, okay? Type away, whether it's now live, which I encourage you. Gracias, Michaela. So cool. So, yo lucho, I struggle. Tú luchas, you struggle. Él, ella o esa persona lucha. That person struggles, let's say. Esa persona lucha. I'm gonna do neutral, by the way. No, by default. Nosotros luchamos. We struggle. Vosotros lucháis. You, plural, struggle. You all struggle. Ellos luchan. They struggle. So this is the very straightforward present, simple present tense. Presente, the indicativo. The modo indicativo is the mode of the verb that we're right now, in which is, very straightforward. That's the whole thing we're going to do now. Okay, so let's move to the next pretérito imperfecto, which is the simple past tense. Again, we're still in the modo indicativo. That's gonna be our mode, and same pronouns. They're gonna be consistent. Okay, so I'm not gonna translate them anymore. If you are still in doubt about the pronouns, let me know on the chat or write me on Twitter, and I'll try and answer your questions. You might have missed it earlier, but nosotros. Yes. It's a neutral. As no problem, Michael. I can say it again. No problem. So I'm using nosotros, vosotros, y ellos as a neutral that is it has been created for a while, but the academy is still not catching up, basically, with a neutral. We're creating a neutral genre as inclusive language, but the academy, made up of old privileged white men, very out of touch. It's going to take a while for the academy. So yeah, it's not formally used, as you will point out, Rendis. It's something that we need to get used to using, because it's a fair usage of the language. Is the language being transformed? That's happening in real time right now. So, of the many historical things that are happening right now, one of them is the language. The Spanish language is transforming into something more inclusive, more, if we were to use it, it would be correct for us, for the people. But the dictionary is going to say, that's a typo. And we're going to go like, whatever, we don't care. So if you're writing an official document in Spanish, and you use the neutral, you're gonna be frowned upon by old white men, basically. So there's that, I guess. So we're gonna go over the past tense. If we compare it now I'm gonna go slower, then we're gonna see the other two verbs, so it's gonna be much faster. But right now, see on the present, lucho, luchas, lucha, luchamos, lucháis, luchan. That's gonna be the same case, because this is a regular verb. It's not an irregular verb. I tried to choose more or less regular verbs. But you see the root of the verb is the same, luch. So I would definitely use it in mixed company, definitely. Mixed group of men and women. I would say yes. Yes, it's very usable for mixed groups. Nosotros, vosotros, ellos. In fact, I'm gonna use it, by default, the neutral on this lesson, because that is the correct usage, for a better world, let's say. So, yo luchaba. I struggled. Tú luchabas. You struggled. Esa persona luchaba. That person struggled. Nosotros luchamos. Luchábamos, sorry. Nosotros luchábamos. We struggled. Vosotros luchabais. You struggle. You all struggled. You plural struggle. Ellos luchaban. They struggled. So if we compare it with present, lucho, luchas, lucha, luchamos, lucháis, luchan, and we're using luchaba, luchabas, luchaba, luchábamos, luchabais, luchaban, which is this ba, bas, ba, mos, vais, ban, and the ba, that's a common. So this is on first conjugation is mostly, jugar, jugaba, to play. So if I would say from the verb jugar, so if I get the to play, jugar, and if I want to extract the simple past, I would type jugaba. Damn it. Wait. Whoop. There you go. So jugar, to play, jugaba. I played, or they played. So luchar, luchaba. Make sense? I hope it makes sense. I hope it makes sense. I'm gonna take no comment silence as as affirmative. But okay, let's go over the verb again. Yo luchaba, I struggled. Tú luchabas, you struggled. Esa persona luchaba, that person struggled. Nosotros luchábamos, we struggled. Vosotros luchabais, you all struggled. Ellos luchaban, they struggled. So moving on. And we're gonna go for pretérito indefinido. And this is where it gets a little bit because I don't think there's a differentiation in other languages. Perfecto simple, that's how we used to call it before. This perfecto simple. And it made sense because perfect doesn't mean that it's perfect, that it's the best past tense there ever is or was or ever could be. It means that it happened before and that the action is done. So I struggled and then I finished struggling, for instance. Or I struggled for that one cause and we accomplished the task or whatever, the thing was over. And you're talking about, something that is done and over in the past. So, yo luché, like, yo luché con el colectivo Lucha Autónoma. So, I struggled with this collective. This collective doesn't exist anymore. So I struggled with them. I joined them in the struggle. And we disbanded the collective. So I'm not struggling with them anymore. So I say, yo luchaba. I used to struggle with them. I don't know. I hope it's making sense. So yo luché. I struggled. I used to struggle. Tú luchaste. You used to struggle. Esa persona luchó. That person used to struggle. Nosotros luchamos. We used to struggle. Used to struggle. Vosotros luchasteis. You all used to struggle. Ellos lucharon. They used to struggle. They don't struggle anymore. So that's a pretérito indefinido, aka perfecto simple. Luché, luchaste. Luchó, luchamos. And again, the root of the verb remains on all of them. It is funny because in Latin America, it is way more used to use this indefinido, this perfecto simple, than this other past tense, imperfecto. We use it more in Spain. but it's way more used in Latin America. Yeah, you struggle with vosotros. That's very meta, by the way. Really. It is true. That is something that's happening. I also tend to forget it because it's a new usage. It is very meta because we talked about it in the stream. Ooh, thank you so much, Trekkie, for rating. Thank you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're learning Spanish, basic Spanish. Thank you so much, Comer Trekkie. Viva la anarquía. Viva la revolución social. Viva. So, yeah. Viva is a cool thing, Because we say like, I don't know, all hail or all praise, So, hooray, 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 hooray to something, hooray! Viva, viva, viva la anarquía, viva la revolución social. That's viva, viva, viva. Which is like the imperative, and I'm not going to mess with your head right now, of live. Los Borbones son unos ladrones. That's right. We all agree on that, but people are getting imprisoned for saying that right now in Spain. So there's that. Yeah. Well, you gotta listen. Yeah, I wish y'all got Spanish chops already, because I got a few new songs that are gonna end with my bones behind bars, if you know what I'm saying. If they get picked by the attorney, some fashy enough attorney, but let's not spoil things. Let's go through this pretérito indefinido again, which is perfecto simple, as we used to call it back in the 80s, is still, right, considered in brackets. Yo luché. I used to struggle. Tú luchaste. You used to struggle. Esa persona luchó. That person used to struggle. Nosotros luchamos. Which sounds exactly, it's more or less, if you pick it up by itself, it's exactly like the present of indicativo. It's the same word, you see? Luchamos. But it's not really. It's understood in context, to be honest. Yeah, luchar is also to fight. It has many different meanings, but we're taking it in the context of the struggle right now, which is, But yeah, of course, luchar is to fight, and then we have like the lucha libre and whatnot, It is a word with different meanings. We're using this as a revolutionary context. So basically, yeah. Vosotros luchasteis. You all used to struggle. Ellos lucharon. They used to struggle. Again, I'm going through the pronouns. I'm including the neutral expressions that are not officially recognized by the Spanish Royal Academy of the Language. I do have no, it's not a double space. Good. Not recognized by the official old white privileged men on top of the Royal Academy, but it will be recognized in about 10 to 15 years, probably. Yeah. So, yeah. Again, I'm going to go through this slogan called luchar, crear, poder popular, which means to struggle, to create the power of the people. Okay, moving on to the next verb, next tense, would be pretérito perfecto compuesto. So if before we saw pretérito perfecto simple, now we call it indefinido, but it's perfecto simple, perfecto simple, perfecto simple. We got pretérito perfecto compuesto, which is the composite. Because, but I swear it makes sense, okay? Be patient. But this one exists in English for what it's worth. Not like the simple one that doesn't exist in English, but it makes sense. So again, we're going to perfecto, which is doesn't mean perfect, but something that happened and it was done. I'm gonna read y'all. I need to up the brightness of the screen so I can read the letters from this distance. I'm not surprised that I would have to wear glasses eventually, but learn another language at some point. There you go. That's what you're doing. If Spanish is not your language, you're in the right place. Just saying. I've been wanted to know about this forever. There you go. As a semi-fluent Spanish speaker, always annoys me how gender the language is. Yes. When your language is more gender than English, yeah, it gets hard. It is. There's a few. Are you wearing contacts? Cool. So many languages are so gendered. Yeah. I mean, we all have our pluses and minuses. I would say all of our languages have our pluses. Yes, perfected. Yeah, that the action is completed. Yeah. Learning another language to understand that. Yeah. Our verbs, our tenses are very metaphysical. Sometimes wanting to be, they're very complex. Spanish and French verbs are very complex, but that's why they're so precise, And that's why I'm saying, sometimes like English is a better, let's say, business language to get things done. And German, there are more practical languages that get things done. 1, 2, 3, done. No equivocations or whatever, But I think Spanish is a way richer language for poetry, philosophy, and the sorts. Broadly, okay? Of course, there are, cases, exceptions, and whatnot. That, yeah. So, let's go through pretérito, perfecto, compuesto, okay? After I take a sip of water, because it's always good. Stay hydrated, good people. Y'all should take a sip of water every now and then. I hope y'all are doing it. It's good stuff. We're ugly bags of mostly water, like they said on Star Trek. Oh, you gotta go. No problem. Buen provecho and buena siesta, hermano. Mwah, mwah. Trekkie, bonico. Uy. Much love to the Trekkie 69. Live long and prosper. My friend. Not just comrade, friend. Took me learning German grammar to understand how to use whom in English. Oh, yeah. Vitame, capricious nerd. We lost Trekkie, who we love and respect absolutely. And we have Nicole with us, who is also awesome to have around. So, thank you for coming. Okay, we're going to pretérito perfecto compuesto, which is like a something past with a, So in this one, we use the participle in the compuesto times the composite tenses. We call it tiempos, which is like time. And sometimes I make like the bad translation. Oh, okay. Like we say in Spanish, buen provecho, Nicole. Have a good meal. Smacznego, that they say in Polish. I guess it's similar in Slovak. Smacznego. I don't know. Maybe it sounds very specifically Polish. But yeah. So he luchado. We use the participle here, and I'm gonna rewind, I guess, back to page 1 to refresh y'all. Luchar and the participle luchado. So on the composite verbs, we're gonna use the participle all the way, okay? So, and we use the verb haber, which many even haber. So what we're doing right now is conjugating haber, which is to have. We're conjugating Dobry chut. Oh, dobry chut. I hope I said it right. I'm kind of applying. Oh, okay. I'm applying like the Polish phonetics as I may take it. Dobry chut. Huch. Huch? Is the T accented for a reason? I don't know. Yeah, I get it. Hard to explain. Huch. Okay, it says huch. Yeah, no props. You know, knowing a neighbor language kind of helps, I guess. Knowing some basics of it, because Polish, that's a difficult language. Beautiful, but difficult. Anyway, we're basically conjugating the verb haber, to have. So this is like the present, the simple present. Has, ha, hemos, habéis, han. I'm gonna go over phonetics again, like just, you know, what we talked in the former lesson, that if you haven't seen, you can watch on YouTube already. And on the first lesson, I'm gonna probably make a playlist at some point, because I just have one lesson, so it's really absurd to have a playlist with it. But eventually, you know, and there are gonna be more lessons, so it's gonna be fun. So as, the H is mute. We don't pronounce the H most of the time in Spanish. The H is just there to mess with your head. If you know what I'm talking about. The H in Spanish is just there to mess with your head, okay? So it's the verb to have, haber. Haber is, something that exists, basically. I is like there is. But in this case, with the composites, it works as the word to have. Not to have as to have a possession or something, but to have done something. So in this case, he luchado. I have struggled. Tú has luchado. You have struggled. I'm going to highlight them. Esa persona ha luchado. That person has struggled. Nosotros hemos luchado. We have struggled. Vosotros habéis luchado. You all have struggled. Ellos han luchado. They have struggled. So again, I'm gonna go over the neutrals, not, recognized by the academy. I mean, esa persona has a construction, that person is very straightforward. But these three, nosotros, vosotros, y ellos, they're not recognized by the academy. But if you're addressing like a group of only men, you can say nosotros, vosotros, as y'all, ellos as them. If they're only men, and if they're only women, binary women, or, so nosotras, us, vosotras, y'all, ellas, they. But again, as a preference, we're going to use the neutral, nosotros, vosotros, ellos, and esa persona, which is with him, él, her, ella, and esa persona, they, or that person literally, but we don't have like a they rule in Spanish. I hope you understand. I'm repeating myself, but just in case, for people who just jumped into the chat, so we can all be on the same page, and, repetition makes good learning. Hola, Dorian Sapiens. Welcome to the Spanish lesson. We're explaining now the gender neutral that we're, crafting from the social movements in Spain and Latin America, all Spanish-speaking countries. I'm not gonna say, we the Spanish. Fuck that shit. We're all one people united by a language, and fuck them borders. But you know what I'm saying. So we're promoting this neutral gender pronouns and expressions in general. Inclusive language, which it's gonna be like very good. I remember, back when certain mainstream politicians were trying to figure out how to make gender neutral statements and starting saying like nosotros, nosotras hemos decidido que vamos a ser más rigurosos, rigurosas, and it was very tiresome that they were using the same pronouns or or adjectives that are gendered in both of the dual genders, and it didn't address like the gender neutral or fluid and all non-binary people. So we're coming up with nosotres, vosotres, and riguroses and stuff like that. So I hope that explains it. And we're gonna go over this verb again because I tend to digress and that's not cool. Yo he luchado. I have struggled. Tú has luchado. You have struggled. Esa persona ha luchado. That person has struggled. Nosotros hemos luchado. We have struggled. Vosotros habéis luchado. You all have struggled. Ellos han luchado. They have struggled. It's a bit of a class. It's a bit of a hangout as well. So that's that's perfecto compuesto. And we're gonna go over Pluscuamperfecto. I'm sorry. You don't have to learn the word Pluscuamperfecto. Which is like this plusquam is like if you use the Q here, this part could be Latin all the way, okay? The dead language. But it's a Spanishization of the Latin, more than perfect. So it's the most perfect. The most done and after the fact past tense that you can imagine. What I think about the OA ending. OA ending in which context? Sorry, Dorian. Does it just address both binary genders and still leave out? I'm not like es endings like nosotres. I get it. I'm not familiar with the OA. But if you could explain it a little bit more, put in context, we could engage with it because I'm a little bit lost on that right now. Hello, Ashley. Welcome, bienvenida. Which is, to welcome someone is you say bienvenida, bienvenido, or bienvenide. Again, the gender as we're using. Welcome. Everything. Welcome. Let's use the close-up, very low voice, type of thing. I just reinvented for the laughs. Yeah, absolutely ASMR, to be honest. I'ma make you tingling a little bit. So anyway, at a rate, let's go back to the verb. So this is had struggled. This exists in English, so it shouldn't be much of a problem. But we call it Pluscuamperfecto because we mess with your head, okay? So also, one of the things with the pronouns is that our verbs are conjugated within themselves, you can totally get rid of the pronouns and it would be understandable. Like, habías luchado contra o habías luchado en el frente feminista durante años. So that means you had struggled in the feminist front for years, and you don't need to use you don't need to display the pronoun in the sentence because it's understandable from it happens in a lot of other languages. Like, I remember Polish. For instance, there are languages like English or Norwegian. I remember Norwegian, another one I'm kind of familiar. you know, that require the pronoun, because otherwise you don't understand, right? Like hade du, hade du bekräfte? You had, whether if you had confirmed, hade du bekräfte? And at some point, you know, you can use, you know, like rozumiesz, like do you understand, or you understand? You understand that you don't need the pronoun in Polish. It's same as here in Spanish. So habíamos luchado, it means we. We is implied, basically. In this case, we had struggled. Habíamos luchado. But the we is implied, so you don't need to say nosotros habíamos luchado. No, you don't need to say that. You could say habíamos luchado and it's understood, because as the verb is conjugated, you don't need the pronoun. Makes sense, right? I hope so. At some point, you know, it's conjugate. Let's go through this verb. So, yo había luchado. I had struggled. Tú habías luchado. You had struggled. Esa persona había luchado. That person had struggled. Nosotros habíamos luchado. We had struggled. Vosotros habíais luchado. You all had struggled. Ellos habían luchado. They had struggled. I hope it makes sense. I hope it makes sense. We're gonna Javituino. Oh, the meme. Anyway, let's move on to another tense. So, pretérito anterior. It couldn't go more perfect than this. Like you could say that Pluscuamperfecto more than perfect was perfect enough. But you could say hube luchado, in which you're playing to had in a perfect sense. So it's a more done and done. This is super dead. To be honest, this is not the most widely used verb in the Spanish language, in the Castilian language, but it's there. It exists, okay? So, yo hube luchado. I had struggled. Like, I have had struggled. Tú hubiste luchado. You have had struggled. Esa persona hubo luchado. That person has had struggled. Nosotros hubimos luchado. We have had luchado. Struggled. Sorry about it. This is getting to my head too. Vosotros hubisteis luchado. You all have had struggled. Ellos hubieron luchado. They have had struggled. Yeah, it's incredibly. This is for books and shit, people. But it's good to know, okay? If you get the takeaway, I'm gonna link to the takeaway again. You know, you can see it slowly at home, reflect on it, and you get more or less the broader sense of it. Okay? Pretérito anterior. It exists. It's there. So we're going to the future. We're taking our time machine and going to the future, Charlie. We come from the future. So, I don't know if you're very adept with film cow. I like film cow. Sorry about that. I like some senseless or wonderful humor, very detached from reality and whatnot. So this is a future simple. Again, the root still there because this is a regular verb. It doesn't change a lot, okay? So, yo lucharé, I will struggle, or shall struggle, whichever you'll prefer. Alma Marcela Gozo, who is she? Alma Marcela Gozo, I don't know her. I'll check her out. Yo lucharé, I will struggle. Tú lucharás, you will struggle. Esa persona luchará. That person will struggle. Nosotros lucharemos. We will struggle. Vosotros lucharéis. You will struggle. You all, that it is plural. Ellos lucharán. They will struggle. Let's go over them again, okay? Yo lucharé. And check it out, there's a lot of acute type. We're going to go through the accents and the rules eventually, okay? Yo lucharé. The emphasis and the accent, the markers and whatnot. But we'll go through it, okay? Eventually. Anyway, lucharé. I will struggle. Lucharás. You will struggle. Luchará. That person will struggle. Lucharemos. We will struggle. Lucharéis. You all will struggle. Lucharán. They will struggle. That is very straightforward, isn't it? I hope it's very straightforward. But yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's a silly joke. Okay. Like you're making any sense. I don't know that person, but of course, if you pronounce with Latin American, the Marcela it's pronounced Marcela, and it's an oral sex joke. Which okay, be free, to rub against each other at your own leisure. It's a silly childish joke. No biggie. So, okay. Perfect future. Because don't you think you're getting away that easily? There are more tenses, and we're using that's another composite. So the verbo haber, to have, it's what is being conjugated, and we're using the participle again, luchado, as the complement, okay? So this is another composite verb. Fair enough. Let's keep going. So, habré luchado. I will have struggled. Yeah, that's why, because it's in the future, but it's perfective because it's been finished in the future. It's, as I said, our Spanish verbs are very metaphysical. But again, this one exists in English too, so it shouldn't be a problem, okay? Habré luchado. I will have struggled. Habrás luchado. You will have struggled. Habrá luchado. This person will have struggled. Habremos luchado. We will have struggled. Habréis luchado. You all will have struggled. Habrán luchado. They will have struggled. Again, with the pronouns. Yo habré luchado. I will have struggled. Tú habrás luchado. You will have struggled. Esa persona habrá luchado. O él o ella habrá luchado. He or she will have struggled, or that person will have struggled. Nosotros, nosotras o nosotres, in this case nosotres, we will have struggled. Vosotros, vosotras o vosotres, in this case vosotres, You all will have struggled. Ellos, ellas o ellas will have struggled. They will have struggled. There you go. So that's all of the verbs so far. Okay? From modo indicativo. We're not going to subjuntivo. We're not going to imperativo. We're not going to condicional. We're not going to the other modes. We're just going through modo indicativo. So we've gone through all of the verbs. Now we're going to do the same with another verb, which is aprender, which is from the second conjugation. And it's very similar, to be honest. Yeah, there are other modes. And I need to find a good strategy to make you all understand subjuntivo, subjunctive mode. But we'll get there when we get there. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, okay? But yeah, let's not complicate things right now and stick with this list of verbs, which is, it's good enough. So, going back to presente, to simple present, okay? The simplest. I know, it's a lot, but in that way we get to spend more time together, which is fun and nice, okay? I hope y'all are having fun with these, okay? I hope y'all are having fun. I'm trying to listen to y'all. You know how it is. Always look on the bright side of life. Wait, I don't wanna get a copyright strike. Oh my God. So, the list of indicativo mode verbs is done. We're gonna go over it with the second conjugation type of verb. So instead of luchar, that ends up in ar, we're going to aprender, which the infinitive ends in er. That's why it's second conjugation. Remember, first conjugation, they end in ar, and the infinitive, that is. Second conjugation, they end in er, and third conjugation, they end in ir. And this is the verb aprender. Aprender, which is second conjugation. So, what? Nope. Yep. There you go. Aprender. Which means to learn, which is something that we do all of our lives. Pasamos toda nuestra vida aprendiendo. We spend all of our lives learning. Life, actually, singular. But you get my drift. So, yo aprendo. I learn. Tú aprendes. You learn. Esa persona aprende. That person learns. If it's a he, él aprende. If it's a she, ella aprende. Nosotros aprendemos. We learn. If it's a group composed by men only, nosotros aprendemos. If it's a group composed of women only, nosotras aprendemos. You all learn. You, as in you, plural. Vosotros aprendéis. If it's a group composed of men only, vosotros aprendéis. If it's a group composed of female women only, women, vosotras aprendéis. And if it's trans women, you also use vosotras aprendéis. If it's trans men, you always use vosotros aprendéis. And if it's non-binary people or a mixed group of people, you say vosotres aprendéis. Like you all are doing. You learn. Ellos, ellas aprenden. They learn. If it's a group composed of men only, you say ellos aprenden. They learn. If it's a group composed of women only, you say ellas aprenden. They learn. But if it's non-binary and mixed people, like usually is, and or mixed people, different genders and classification, or people that you don't know which their gender expressions are, it's safe to say ellas aprenden, which is, again, not accepted by the Royal Academy of Spanish, Real Academia de la Lengua Española. The Royal Academy of the Spanish language still doesn't recognize the gender-neutral expressions that we are pushing from the social movements, but give them 50 or 60 years. They'll catch up. Aprendemos español conmigo. Yeah, gracias. I'm gonna do a little plus. Okay. Whoop. Okay, I'm gonna take it to the bottom. Yep. Conmigo means with me. Contigo means with you. Consigo means with themselves. It's kind of reflexive, with themselves. So, estáis... okay. Aprendéis español conmigo. You learn Spanish with me. And we're using conmigo. You learn Spanish with me. Aprendo español contigo. I learn Spanish with you. Aprende español consigo. Oh, no. It's just not something. That needs to be like a non-transitive verb, actually. So, llevó la lección consigo. They took the lesson with themselves. That would make more sense. Something that you know, basically, llevar consigo, to take with oneself. They will have to adapt it to less time if we have our ways. Devs. Okay, so presente, that's the present, simple present. We're on the easy land. We're going to simple past. Pretérito imperfecto. Imperfect. Still ongoing, okay? Yo aprendía. I learned. And it was ongoing. It was happening. So, cuando aprendí español, yeah. Tú aprendías. You learned. Esa persona... I made a typo here. Aprendía. Damn it. Damn. I'm gonna have to update that PDF. Okay, that was a typo. Sorry about that. If you're reading through the material and you found the typo. Here is the typo. Page 11, okay? I messed up. I got a lot on my plate. Please, be lenient with me, okay? I messed up. So, yeah. Okay. Sorry about the mistake, okay? I made a typo. I put an N where it shouldn't be. Yeah. Hopefully. Hopefully they're editable. I don't know. I just made a PDF. So, but if you have the way to get the PDF and chop that N away, that would be great. There are tools for that. And yeah, there I haven't made the, like when you make the letters into, into curves. So now they're not letters per se, but they're objects, that you, sorry about that. They're like objects that you can mess with. That's not gonna happen here. So I hope that, fixes it. Anyway, let's go through it again, okay? Yo aprendía. I learned. tú aprendías. You learned. Esa persona aprendía. That person learned. Or, if it was a man, él aprendía. If it was a woman, ella aprendía. Nosotros aprendíamos. We learned. Vosotros aprendíais. You all learned. Ellos aprendían. They learned. Goody goody. Moving on to more complex territory. So again, perfecto simple or indefinido, as they call it now, which is something that happened and stopped. So yo aprendí. I learned. And then I stopped learning whatever the subject was because you finished learning it. Yo aprendí español and now I know all the Spanish. That's not true. You never end learning Spanish. Any language. Languages are very deep and are constantly evolving. So there's no perfect here. But let's pretend there is one, okay? Maybe you stop learning in that specific way, in that specific academy, and then you learn on your own, and it's fine. But yeah, aprendí. I learned. Tú aprendiste. You learned. Esa persona aprendió. That person learned. Nosotros aprendimos. We learned. Vosotros aprendisteis. You all learned. Ellos aprendieron. They learned. And again, the root remains the same. We're choosing regular verbs that are easy peasy lemon squeezy, okay? They don't get too funny ways. We'll do irregular verbs at some point. We'll have fun with irregular verbs. And our heads will explode of, oh my God. But these are easy peasy lemon squeezy. Very regular that you apply the formula. Like aprender or entender, then I would say. You just entendí. And the word, the formula would be the same. I understood. Yo entendí. Aprendí towards entendí. And they work more or less the same because they're both very regular verbs. It shouldn't be a hassle, if you know what I'm saying. Okay. Perfecto compuesto. Pretérito perfecto compuesto. That's a composite perfective tense. So, again, with the verb to have, but haber, which is to exist. It's difficult to translate per se, directly, but yeah. He aprendido. I have learned. Yo he aprendido. I have learned. Tú has aprendido. You have learned. Yeah, we're getting there. Estoy aprendiendo. I am learning. But good one. Riendis. Gracias. He aprendido. Yo he aprendido el verbo aprender. So today hoy he aprendido el verbo aprender. Today I have learned the verb aprender. To learn. Why not? He aprendido. I have learned. Has aprendido. You have learned. Esa persona ha aprendido. That person has learned. Nosotros hemos aprendido. We have learned. Vosotros habéis aprendido. You all have learned. Ellos han aprendido. They have learned. Whoop. But, for instance, los fascistas no han aprendido que la humanidad es diversa. The fascists haven't learned that humanity is diverse. Hablar. Besides modal helping verb. Haber. Yes. Like when you say, for instance, let's make a short sentence. Let's make a short sentence. Okay, so just suppose you're in your apartment with your roomies, with your comrades, and you come from a meeting. Los fascistas no han aprendido que la humanidad es diversa. Yes, yeah, exactly. Hay es haber. It's from the verb haber. So, ¿hay algo de comer en la cocina? Is there something to eat in the kitchen? You just figure out that you come to your apartment and you ask your comrades if they left something for you to eat. Is there something to eat in the kitchen? Oh, speaking of which, somebody had something to eat. Alguien ha comido algo. Ñam, ñam. Algo de comer. Something to eat. You finished it all. Good for you. I'm gonna have to make me something to eat after this, to be honest. But it's another kitchen, so I have chance. There's chances, big chances that I can find something edible for yours truly. But in this way, verbo haber is to be something, to be there, something to exist. So, ¿hay algo de comer en la cocina? Is there? Because of the interrogatory way, which, by the way, we have opening interrogation marks, which are awesome. We have opening and interrogation and exclamation marks, and they're fantastic, and I love them, and we should use them more. We should make a lefty thing to use opening and closing interrogation, opening interrogation and exclamation marks in English, just to mess with people's heads, and to make it a leftist thing. Why not? So, ¿hay algo de comer en la cocina? Hay, is there. Algo, something. De comer, to eat. Comer is to eat. But de, it function as something to eat, like the to. It's a preposition. En la cocina. En, in, la, the, cocina, kitchen. Makes sense? Oh, yeah. Oh, keyboard. Yeah, I do a lot of keyboard switching. But to be honest, like the Spanish ISO, I can write Spanish, English, and Norwegian with it. But for instance, for Polish, I have to switch keyboards, which kind of sucks. If you want to write, the funky, wonderful letters, like the which like the w and the ni, these funky letters. Actual keyboard layout, I don't know. I don't know if I would live outside of ASDF. I mean, it's all getting used to, But in this case, the verbo haber, hay, which, by the way, haber, claro. Slovak and German sets. Yeah, it sucks. I hear you. Or you can make a shortcut to switch between one and the other, But I'm shortcut kid, You can never find the weirdo characters. Oh, see why I switched. It's very annoying. I hear you. Yes. Yes. I hear you so much. No, the 3 keyboards that I'm switching through, but to be honest, I don't use the Norwegian keyboard so much anymore. Mostly because I have access, through the Alt from the Spanish keyboard to all the Norwegian letters, so I don't really need it. With that layout covers for both. But yeah, the Polish keyboard is fantastic. I would even keep it, just the Polish keyboard if I didn't have my ñ, my funky N with the accent. But okay. So, perfecto compuesto. I have learned. Yo he aprendido. You have learned. Tú has aprendido. This person has learned. Esta persona ha aprendido. We have learned. Nosotros, nosotres hemos aprendido. You all have learned. Vosotros habéis aprendido. They have learned. Ellos han aprendido. So having learned something, I hope. Espero, bueno, this is just a way to express something, you know, freestyle without having to switch to subjunctive. I don't want to mess with your head. But, habéis aprendido el pretérito perfecto compuesto. You have learned the pretérito perfecto compuesto, composite past tense, past perfect, that is. Okay, moving on. Pluscuamperfecto, more than perfect, more than perfective. Oh, looking at the keyboard. Yeah, I'm not so for looking at the keyboard. I learned, you know, thanks to my mom, I think, a little bit of typewriting. We had a typewriter when I was a kid at home. So I learned the ASDEFG thing, you know. So I put my fingers in the right position. I don't have to look to type. I make some typos every now and then, but, you know, they're easy to correct. And once you get to the one of the things that messes with my head when doing this is switching, you know, from a laptop keyboard to a desktop keyboard type, you know, different sizes and so on. So your muscle memory goes to the wrong key but you know you gotta go there, but you press the key next to it or something. And the BV, you know, being a big problem in Spanish. Sometimes you make typos as if you would pretend it looks like you don't know the BV rule, but it's actually that you just mistyped. It's a typo, but it's not that kind of typo. Which, you know, I must confess I'm a little bit picky, you know, when I see something that has like a very, very, very big typo, you know, I get like cringe and it kind of burns my eyes. Yeah, you know. I have to hit the 500 different possible places where this mark can be thing. I hear you so much. Switching keywords sucks. Anyway. Había aprendido. So more than perfect. More than perfective. I had learned. Tú habías aprendido. You had learned. Esa persona había aprendido. That person had learned. Nosotros habíamos aprendido. We had learned. Vosotros habíais aprendido. You all had learned. Ellos habían aprendido. They had learned. I hope this one is clear enough. Being a pluscuamperfecto, I'm gonna go over it again. But again, you know, the verbo haber, it's also like very, very, very regular. As you can see, the root. HAB at the... So again, we're dealing with very regular verbs. There's nothing to worry about. You know, we're in this, let's say it's a very safe place. Okay. Yo había aprendido. I had learned. Tú habías aprendido. You had learned. Esta persona había aprendido. This person had learned. Nosotros habíamos aprendido. We had learned. Vosotros habíais aprendido. You all had learned. Ellos habían aprendido. They had learned. So that's all for pluscuamperfecto for the verb aprender. Remember, we have a third verb to go through. So this lesson is time extensive, but it really stinks. It really, really sticks, you know. It stinks, no. Sticks. Kind of stinks a little bit. I'm not a good teacher, okay? I'm a volunteer here. Don't judge my teaching skills, which are non-existent. You used to grin when you saw sentences like, I don't even wanna. I wanna write the. Vamos al parque. I wanna vindicate that sentence just for the sake of it, okay? Every time you ask if something is clear, my brain goes. I know. Okay. Ano means anus in Spanish, though. I don't think it's the same. It's funny. Yes, in Slovak it's ono, ano. I know. Yeah, right. I think you made that joke a few days ago. That's true. And it just dawned on me right now, like spontaneously. But I just remember that you made that same joke not long ago in some other chat that I don't remember. I don't remember the specifics. Okay, my brain is very spongy at this age. Don't say ano in Spanish. Derp. Oh, y'all are fun. You're all great people. Thank you for putting up with me. Anyway. Okay, anterior. The pluscuamperfective. More than absolutely perfective. The impossible verb that we're not so gonna use so much. But it's there. We need to acknowledge it. Deal with it. Hube aprendido. I have had learned. Hubiste aprendido. You have had learned. Hubo aprendido. This person have had learned. Hubimos aprendido. We have had learned. Hubisteis aprendido. You all have had learned. Hubieron aprendido. They have had learned. So way back. So way back. This is a useless verb. Why does it still exist? No, it has its uses. They're just not so. They're not so conversational. They're not so casual. We don't use them that often, and it's okay. You gotta have those, okay? Don't worry about it. Yeah, it sounds very passive aggressive in English, and it's an approximation. It's not really a translation that is very literal, and it's an approximation to understand the perfective nature of the have had, you know. And it's not would have, or would have had. It's have had. It's perfective layers of perfectiveness. You know what I mean? It's so perfective. It wants to be done with itself. It's this verb is laying on the verb table saying, "Kill me." Ease my pain and my suffering. This is the kind of verb, pretérito anterior. But we gotta love it, you know, by its own merits. Just saying. Also, you know, we have an it verb. Verb my ass. We have an it pronoun. But I'm not going to use it because this relates to people. And we don't use that much, you know, objects with verbs anyway. Like we use it in other contexts of sentence, but not related to verbs. Existence is pain. I mean, I can't even start to say how much I relate to that sentence, to be honest. But yeah, hang in there. We'll get through this shit, okay? It's 2020, people. It's 2020. And again, hube aprendido. Yo hube aprendido. Yo, persona humana. Yo. Hube aprendido. I have had learned. Tú hubiste aprendido. Tú, persona humana, a quien me estoy dirigiendo. Tú hubiste aprendido. You have had learned. esa persona de quien estoy hablando, esa persona, that person who I'm talking about, hubo aprendido. That person of whom I'm talking about had learned. Nosotros hubimos aprendido. We have had learned. Vosotros hubisteis aprendido. You have had learned. Ellos hubieron aprendido. They have had learned. And before making this verb, this tense want to suffer anymore, we're moving to the future. Because we have those bleach commercials in Spain where there's this woman who comes from the future, very gendered motherfucker, but it was a different time, I guess. I hope they don't make those anymore. I don't watch TV anymore, so it was a cheesy, shitty commercial where there's this woman coming from the future bringing bleach that is supposed to be from the future and giving it to a fellow housewife from the future. Fuck gender roles, really. How the oppression of women and non-binary people makes me want to rage. But we're here for the wholesome Spanish lessons, so yeah, let's enjoy the ride as much as we can. I support your policy, Riendis. 100%. Several million %. So let's go to the future. Vamos al futuro. Vamos al futuro. Yo aprenderé. I will learn. Tú aprenderás. You will learn. And I'm talking to you, huh? You will learn. Esa persona aprenderá. That person will learn as well. Because we all can learn. Nosotros aprenderemos. We will learn. We will. It's fine. We all can learn. Vosotros aprenderéis. You all will learn. Ellos aprenderán. They will learn. They will learn too. We're learning. They can learn as well. Okay, this is very straightforward. So I'm going to move on. You will learn. Yeah, it's the verb choice that, the verb learning. Have had learned. Have they had learned? But they didn't. No, it's about the perfective way. They have had learned. It sounds very paraphrasic in English, but it makes a lot of sense in Spanish. Hubieron aprendido, which sounds like way back in the past, and it's weird. It's poor tense. It is what it is. It's a weird tense. But we're in the future, and the future is the future. Something that doesn't exist. I want to say it's bright, but I would be way too optimistic. But yeah, why not? It's bright. Fuck that shit. We shall overcome. So, yo habré aprendido. I will have learned. Tú habrás aprendido. You will have learned. Esa persona habrá aprendido. That person will have learned. Nosotros habremos aprendido. We will have learned. Vosotros habréis aprendido. You will have learned in plural. You all will have learned. Ellos habrán aprendido. They will have learned. So again, al final de este curso, at the end of this course, habremos aprendido español. We will have learned Spanish. At least some of it, right? Algo de español. Some Spanish. Hopefully. Let's go through it again, okay? I will have learned. Habré aprendido. You will have learned. Habrás aprendido. That person will have learned. Habrá aprendido. We will have learned. Habremos aprendido. You all will have learned. Habréis aprendido. They will have learned. Habrán aprendido. Again, Spanish verbs, metaphysics, philosophy. You know the drill. Vas a ver. You will see. Yeah. It reminds me of that song that Ya van a ver, las balas que nos tiraron van a volver. Ya van a ver, las balas que nos tiraron van a volver. Which is sitting there on my YouTube. That song I recorded for my beloved Latin American comrades. You will see. Ya van a ver. Vais a ver. Yeah, I love it too. It's inspired on the chants from the Chilean protests, which I'm gonna write it on the screen so y'all can check it more or less the gist of it. Let me try and figure this out. Okay, I'm running out of screen. I'm gonna do this. Whoops. This is not futuro perfecto, okay? This is just the lyrics of a song. When I was in compulsory school, my teachers took the very polite way to say, fuck around and find out. And it was very much, you're gonna learn. Yeah, right on. So, ya van a ver. Ya means already, kind of, but we use it a lot. Okay, ya, it's a very useful word, actually. Van, it's because of the formal ustedes. We could translate the vais. Does it have an accent? I don't think so, because it's it's one syllable. Ya vais a ver. But in Latin America they tend to use the formal part, which is van, but it's more or less the same. Van. It's not a van, okay? It's you are going to. Van a. You all are going to. It's a if we say vais, you all are going to ver, see, from the second conjugation. So you all are gonna see. Ya vais a ver or ya van a ver, because the formal, ustedes, which is very widely used in Latin America. In Spain, it's used mostly for older people or people of a higher rank. It's something I tend not to use a lot, to be honest. I don't believe in hierarchies of that sort, but it's very, very polite to use. So in a way, being politeness, it's nice to use it sometimes. If you think it's going to make that person happy, why not? So, and ustedes in high school, yeah, it is... it's very Latin American and it's super cool. I'm not against it, okay? I'm against the hierarchical sense of it, if you know what I mean. Ir a, verb, okay? Go to, yeah. For the future tense, yeah. And using the future tense you're showing in these lessons. Yeah, it's not a tense per se. It's more of a paraphrasis. So let's say the future tense will be van, de ir. So going to see, it's a composite, it's a phrasing more than a verb tense per se. That's why. But it's well, you could say ya veréis. Oh, well, sorry, I'm writing on the wrong box. I agree, abolish hierarchy. Yeah, also be nice to people on these minutiae, When it comes to doing a proper revolution, spare no horses. But in these minutiae, what's the point, When if you can make a person happy, do it. So ya verán, for instance, would be like the simple future. So it's mostly a matter of phrasing. Does it express a different meaning? No, not really. Like you're going to see and you will see. It's not really that different a meaning, right? It's a way of expression, if you know what I mean. More. It could imply like a more like it's more immediate. You will see it's something that can happen in the further future, but you're gonna see. it's like you're gonna see very soon, right? It implies a little bit of let's say yeah, immediateness, right? So anyway, whoop, I'm typing on the wrong box again. So ya van a ver. A ver, ya van a ver. You're gonna see. No probs. Oh, Kevin! Kevin Logan is raiding. Thank you for the raid. Hello, 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 good people. It's because you grew up on a farm person and never used pretty informal language. That's true. Informal language is the base. Welcome, welcome everybody who's raided. We're learning Spanish. So we're learning Spanish. So and you know, to honor Kevin, I'm gonna write here in all caps on the chat. No pasarán. No pasarán. They shall not pass was the anti-fascist slogan of the resistance to the fascist forces during what people used to call the Civil War, which was not a civil war. It doesn't qualify as a civil war. It was more an extermination war carried by the fascists after their failed coup d'etat. I'm getting better at saying this in just one quick sentence without stopping so much. Still stop and think about what I say because I'm not really good with memorizing, but there's what it is. So, ya van a ver, you're gonna see. Oh, Rory Cats. It's Rory Cats. Glorious, glorious feline. Anyway, ya van a ver, you're gonna see already. You're gonna see now. Because ya means already, but also means now. And in this context could be both. So, las balas, the bullets, the balas, bullets, like plural bullets, la bala, singular. Que, that, nos, to us, it's a reflection, tiraron, throw. So, the bullets that you throw at us, van, they're going, a, to, volver, return. So, you will see the bullets that you threw at us, they're gonna return. That's what the music goes like. So, yep. Fuck the undo. I can just delete this block. Again, it was this song, and it was based on the chants of the Chilean protests that happened before the pandemic and are happening again, and are brave, brave, brave Chilean people who are fighting for democracy, and one of the first steps is throwing away that constitution from the Pinochet era. So, ya van a ver, las balas que nos tiraron van a volver. Ya van a ver, las balas que nos tiraron van a volver. You're gonna see. Anyway, why did we go to this tangent anyway? Yeah, growing up on a farm gotta be nice. I'm a city rat, to be honest. With all due respect and love to rats, which are fantastic animals, fellow mammals, wonderful furry creatures who have so much love for their fellow rats. Anyway, so, habré aprendido. I will have learned. Habrás aprendido. You will have learned. Habrá aprendido. This person will have learned. Don't worry about it. It's fine to go on tangents. Don't worry about it. Ni te preocupes. Todo bien. Ni te preocupes. Don't you worry about a thing. No te preocupes. Don't you even worry. Ni te preocupes. Okay, I'm gonna go through this verb from the top and doing the pronouns for the new people who have joined in the chat, so you all can learn. Yeah, you wrote it just right. Oh, Dorian, thank you so much. Wonderful people. We got wonderful people here with us. That's fantastic. I have so much respect and love for you all comrades. Just saying, we never say this to each other enough. But all my comrades have my respect and love. So, habré aprendido. Yo habré aprendido. I habré aprendido. Will have learned. Tú habrás aprendido. You will have learned. When we finish this, cuando acabemos, you will have learned, habrás aprendido, some Spanish verbs, algunos verbos en español. So, él o ella o esa persona habrá aprendido. That person will have learned. If it's a man who identifies as a man, as he, him, would be él habrá aprendido. If it's a woman who identifies as she, her, we could say ella habrá aprendido. If it's a non-binary person, we could say esa persona habrá aprendido. Which, we don't have like a proper they neutral pronoun, but we have esa persona, that person, which you never fail with, because if you don't know which pronouns they identify with, you can always say that person, and it's fine, because it's a courtesy that you can do for someone you don't know. So, habrá aprendido, will have learned. Nosotros habremos aprendido. We will have learned. And I need to point out for the new people in the chat, which is good for an extra review, because in education, apparently repetition is a good thing. Nosotros, vosotros, and ellos are neutral. There's three. Are neutral pronouns that are not acknowledged by the Real Academia de la Lengua Española, the Royal Academy of the Spanish Language, but because they're like cranky old men who are way far behind of society, but we at the social movements are trying to push forward these neutral pronouns, so everybody's included. It's part of the several initiatives of inclusive language in the Spanish-speaking communities. That's all I have to say about that. But moving on, nosotros habremos aprendido. We will have learned. If it's about a group of us, we as a group, we all identify as he, him, we will say nosotros habremos aprendido. If our group, for whatever reason, we all identify as she, her, as women, binary women, whatever. Women doesn't have to be necessarily binary, but you can be like non-binary, but leaning towards woman, and you don't mind identifying as a woman. You could say nosotras habremos aprendido. We will have learned. But if you don't know, or if it's a mixed bag of people and you don't know how everyone identifies, it's good and positive to say nosotros habremos aprendido. We will have learned. Which they all sound the same in English, but they make a lot of sense in Spanish. Anyway, moving on. Vosotros habréis aprendido. You all will have learned. You as the plural you. If the group you're addressing, they all identify as male, as men, he, him, you will say vosotros, 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 ministros, hijos de puta, vosotros, políticos, estafadores, jugáis a vivir de nosotros. Bien, correcto. We'll analyze the song eventually. Eventually, but we're with verbs today. But yeah, I'll get a song at some point. Something that is not heavily copyrighted, so I can stream it. I'll figure it out. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So if the you plural that you're addressing is a group of women who identify as she, her, you can say vosotras, vosotras. Vosotras habréis aprendido. You will have learned. But it's safe to say that for non-binary people, mixed people, groups of people, you can safely say vosotres habréis aprendido. Again, not acknowledged by the Royal Academy of the Spanish Language, but they're a bunch of ghouls anyway. So, you all will have learned. Habréis aprendido. You all will have learned some Spanish at the end of this lesson. Al final de esta clase, habréis aprendido un poquito de español. Is that right? I hope I'm right. I hope this is right. I hope you take away some Spanish from this stream. At any rate, ellos habrán aprendido. They will have learned. Again, ellos as the neutral for either a group of non-binary people or a group of mixed people who you don't know, or it's safe to say that you don't know who they identify as. If it's a group of manly men who identify as he, him, and don't mind to be called he, him, you can say ellos habrán aprendido. They will have learned. They all translate the same. But if it's a group of women who identify as women, and it's safe to call them she, her individually to all of them, you can say ellas habrán aprendido. So they will have learned. They all translate the same. Moving on to the next. Okay, next conjugation. And we're going back to the simple present tense. So this is from the verb resistir, which ends in IR. So the verb here, resistir. Again, deberemos resistir, ay Carmela, ay Carmela. Check it out, that song, ay Carmela. So this is the verb, resistir. So, ir is the conjugation. It says third conjugation. So, going back, we had like luchar, which was first conjugation, luchar. Then we have aprender, to learn, which is second conjugation. And now we have resistir, to resist, which is the third conjugation. So, yo resisto, I resist. Tú resistes. You resist. Esa persona resiste. That person resists. Resistimos. We resist. Nosotros resistimos. We resist. Vosotros resistís. You all resist. Ellas resisten. They resist. So, you know, when you have to cope with the presidency of a evil orange man and you have to resist. When you have a revolutionary process that is being attacked from all fronts, you must resist. Pero igual que combatimos, deberemos resistir. But the same as we are combatants, we also must resist. That's what was sung in Ay Carmela, this song. I'm going to type it for you all so y'all can copy and paste. Ay Carmela, which is a classic revolutionary song from the times that they called the Civil War, but it was not actually a civil war. The Spanish Civil War was not actually a civil war, but an extermination war carried on by fascists after a failed coup d'etat. That's history. That's something that happened. What do you know? So yeah, presente, present tense. There you go. Simple, you know. And again, the root is there. Resist, resist, resisto, resiste, resiste, resistimos, resistís, resist en. I hope it makes sense. So, pretérito imperfecto, which is like the simple past. Imperfect, imperfective, so it was ongoing. Resistía, I was resisting. So, resistía. Resistías, I resisted. Resistía los arrestos. I resisted the several arrests that were made to me because they were unlawful and unjust, for instance. Resistía. That person resisted. Resistíamos. We resisted. Resistíais. You all resisted. Resistían. They resisted. Okay, very straightforward so far, I guess. So moving on to next. Just let me know if you have doubts. I'm reading the chat carefully, okay? As carefully as I can, considering, my limitations as a human being. But, yeah. So, perfect simple. Again, I resisted in a way that I had resisted. I resisted and it was over because, the enemy was gone and you didn't have to resist anymore and you could focus on helping the people in your community. That's good. Like the Zapatistas, at some point, they stopped resisting and they focused on their community projects that were fantastic. And if you want to check the EZLN, Ejército Zapatista para la Liberación Nacional, again, I'm going to type it over here. EZLN, Ejército Zapatista. Let me go through this. So ejército means army. Zapatista, you all know what it means. De liberación nacional. So that's the EZLN, the Zapatista Army of National Liberation. Whoopsie. Liberation, just the word. There you go. So, again, yo resistí, I resisted. Tú resististe, you resisted. Esta persona resistió, this person resisted. Nosotros resistimos, we resisted. Vosotros resististeis, you all resisted. Ellos resistieron, they all resisted. Okay, moving on to next verb. I hope everything is all right in the chat, right? Everyone is all right in the chat, right? Gonna take a sip of water. At any rate, I hope everything is all right. Pretérito perfecto compuesto, which is cool. Thanks, Dorian. Composite past tense, perfective past tense. So, he resistido, I have resisted. Tú has resistido, you have resisted. Ha resistido, this person has resisted. Hemos resistido, we have resisted. Habéis resistido, you all have resisted. Han resistido, they have resisted. I'm glad that everything is clear so far. I'm trying to make it as clear as possible. I hope this is accessible for everybody, so you all can learn a little bit of Spanish and spend some time with yours truly, which is, not the most exciting thing in the universe, but it's a thing, hopefully. So having resisted, this verb exists in English. It's not a problem. Again, pay attention to the participle. Resistido is the participle. And again, the verb haber, which is, recited just the same as in the other two verbs. It's no biggie. We're dealing with very straightforward verbs. Very regular verbs that don't change shape and form while you conjugate them. So it will happen. We'll get there. But right now we're on easy mode, I swear. Okay, moving on. Pluscuamperfecto, more than perfect. Again, this one exists in English as well, so not a problem. Había resistido. I had resisted. Habías resistido. You had resisted. Había resistido. This person had resisted. Habíamos resistido. We had resisted. Habíais resistido. You all had resisted. Habían resistido. They had resisted. Very straightforward as well. I think we should move on. What do you all think? I hope you all are in agreement with this, that we should move on. You can always go back to your leaflet. If you don't have the leaflet, I'll link it again in the chat. It's also available for my Patreon community. The people who very kindly support me, who are magnificent and fantastic and generous as people can be, and I really appreciate it. Of course, if you wanna lend a hand, I have a Patreon and a Ko-fi, whatever. You can throw money on me because I'm here on display, and you get this for free anyway, and it's fine. I love that you get this for free. That there's no obligation, So just in case, and otherwise it's super fine. It's super okay. So, moving on from Pluscuamperfecto to our friend pretérito anterior. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay. Hube resistido. This is so weird. Have had resisted. Hubiste resistido. You have had resisted. Hubo resistido. This person has had resisted. Sorry. Hubimos resistido. We have had resisted. Hubisteis resistido. You all have had resisted. Hubieron resistido. They have had resisted. It's way too perfective, this verb. This tense always gets me. It's getting me a little bit tired. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna move on. It's all in the leaflets. You know the drill. Y'all can take screenshots for free. Go rewind the VOD and take your screenshots and take them away anyway. Yeah, it doesn't have to. There is no paywall in here, okay? No paywall. Fuck them paywalls. That's so unfair, Voluntary action is always the best. Anyway, simple future tense, resistiré, which I'm not gonna go through it, but through the pandemic there was this song called Resistiré by Dúo Dinámico, which was a pain in the ass because everybody was singing it. It was like a knockoff of I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor. And people were blasting it through the speakers all day and night. It was awful. I don't want to hear that song anymore. I used it for ironic consumption before the pandemic, like way back in the day, before I even left Spain. But I forgot about the existence of that song, and didn't have to be reminded about it. So resistiré, I will resist. Resistirás, you will resist. Resistirá, that person will resist. Resistiremos, we will resist. Resistiréis, you all will resist. Resistirán, they will resist. Yeah, I think this is very straightforward. Okay. Perfective future. I will have finished this task. I will have resisted. I will have resisted. Habré resistido. You will have resisted. Habrás resistido. This person will have resisted. Habrá resistido. We will have resisted. Habremos resistido. You all will have resisted. Habréis resistido. They will have resisted. Habrán resistido. Again, very straightforward. We've gone through all the other verbs. I don't have to. And in a way, this is like the last page. Yeah, this is absolutely the last page. Let's just go back. Let's go back to page 1, scrolling like a brave. So these are the verbs that we've learned today. Luchar, to struggle or to fight. Aprender, to learn. Resistir, to resist. If you all have any doubts at this point about these verbs or anything else, to be honest, this is the time. Otherwise, I think we're gonna close the lesson part of this. We're gonna hang out in the live part of the show for a while longer. Because thank you so much for coming to the lesson.